The Crash Test Dummies are getting back together to celebrate their biggest album, God Shuffled His Feet. I'm John Bowden from Rock History Canada. Brad Roberts is getting the band back together for a mini tour where they'll play the album in its entirety, including, of course, their biggest hit, I guess it probably made a lot of people stare at the speakers and go, what the heck, huh? As much, and he had a really distinctive voice and clever lyrics, and this band is, well, they were kind of a rock, folkish. I always thought they were very quirky, interesting, but that song reached number 14 in their native country of Canada, number 1 in Belgium, Australia, and Germany, and it peaked at number 4 in the US. The album actually had 4 top 40 hits in Canada, as well as a few more around the world. God Shuffled His Feet was their second album, released October 26, 1993. The band's first actually sold more in Canada. The Ghosts That Haunt Me from 1991 was certified 4 times platinum and featured their big Canadian hit, Superman Song, which peaked at number 4. Interestingly, God Shuffled His Feet went 3 times platinum. Everyone has different reasons for liking different bands, but when I first heard Brad Roberts' voice, I really did stop in my tracks, and I know I say that a lot on this channel, but I talk about the music that really moves me on this channel. And as a radio guy who doesn't have a radio voice, I would listen to a guy with a baritone like his and think, man, I wish I sounded like that. Roberts told the Kindling Group YouTube channel in 2011, I didn't want to be a songwriter ever since I was a kid. First and foremost, I wanted to be a rock and roll guitar player. Then on a lark, I went to the university, and I did a double major in English and philosophy, which I did purely for its own sake, but again, it's kind of a perfect fit for songwriting. And I kind of ended up with the calling kind of falling on my lap. I think the calling chooses you and you choose it. We have predispositions, and if you're lucky, you get to exercise them. There are people that are extremely good at what they do, but they never get a chance. The band also covered The Ballad of Peter Pumpkinhead by Andy Partridge of XTC. It was from the 1994 film Dumb and Dumber with Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. As for the 25th anniversary tour, well, the band will play the album in its entirety, which of course the fans will want to hear, and it's appropriate. There's another thing though. I found that this album didn't have a weak track on it. Everything was good. In 1993, I was 33 years old, and I was still going through a really bad breakup. I'm talking the worst breakup of my life. I had never gone on a road trip by myself, and I was, like I said, 33 years old. I bought myself a brand new car. I made sure I had lots of Genesis and Yes and Toto and Beatles and Elton John. And a friend suggested a few albums that I should bring. One of those was God Shuffles His Feet. And the other one was 5 Days in July, which, by the way, was released the very same month of the very same year, 2 Canadian bands. As I traveled trying to find some semblance of where my life was going, and we've all had those moments, right, where we're a little lost, but we've got to go find it. Dark nights of the soul. Travels you take by yourself. I couldn't. All my friends wanted to come on this road trip, but I had to do it by myself. Traveling through Washington State, cutting across to Montana, going to Nevada, California, I ended up listening to really only 2 albums, that Blue Rodeo album and God Shuffled His Feet. Like, I listened to them over and over again, and the stories from both of those projects were very, very healing for me. The right place, the right time, the right music. I didn't have reservations to go anywhere, no hotel reservations. I followed my nose, no time limit. And when I think of God Shuffled His Feet, I think of 1993, and I think of a guy licking the floor with pain, having a hard time getting up. So Brad Roberts, thanks for bringing him back. Last time I checked, Roberts was living in New York City. And by the way, he's an amazing photographer. I'm Facebook friends with him. He's got a real good eye. And yeah, he still has that deep baritone voice. As well as having that, you have to remember he also wrote almost all those songs by himself. He had a co-writer now and then. And even though the musicians he surrounded himself were amazing, and they're coming back, that was his band. Thought I'd share that with you. We all have memories of dark nights of the soul, and music helping out an awful lot. Crash Test Dummies and, well, Blue Rodeo certainly did that for me. Make sure you comment on our videos, subscribe to our channel. This is a new channel where we have thousands of vintage Canadian interviews, and we wanted to know what to do with them. We really didn't want to put him on Rock History Music, our really big channel, because most of the audience for those channels are in the US and in Europe. We wanted to make sure we celebrate Canadian music on a Canadian YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe. I'm John Bowden from Rock History Canada.